Oracle's Data Manipulation Language, DML. What are the DML or Data Manipulation Language commands in Oracle? The first one is insert, which is used for adding data to the database. The second is the update command, which is used for changing data already existing in the database. The third is the delete command, which is used for removing data from the database. A new command introduced in Oracle 9i is called merge. The merge command will allow the merging of two tables where the target table where the data is inserted into can either be added to or changed. In other words, non-existing data will be inserted and already existing data will be updated. Another aspect of DML commands is the way transactions are handled, sometimes called transactional control. A transaction is, in theory, a block or a sequence of DML SQL commands which change data. Within that block or sequence of DML commands, if there is no commit or rollback, then no change is actually physically made to the database. Commit will actually store the changes in the database, and rollback will undo the changes made in the database by either insert, update, delete, or merge. The set transaction command will allow you to set certain aspects for each transaction. In other words, you issue a set transaction command, do something or set a setting on a transaction, execute a number of DML commands, and then execute a commit or a rollback command to end the transaction and thus nullify the settings of the set transaction command. A save point is really a label that one can return to within the block structure or sequence of events of a transaction. So one could go part way through a transaction, set a save point label, go further in the transaction, and then at some point go back to the save point and roll back to that save point, and one could theoretically undo a part of the transaction. That's the DML or data manipulation commands. Not to be confused with DDL commands, data definition language commands. DDL commands are all for changing the metadata structure in the Oracle database. DML commands are used to change the actual real application data in the database. One point is very important to note. While DML commands are under transactional control, in other words, you can store and undo them, DDL commands are not under transactional control. All DDL commands automatically execute a commit command. In other words, if you were to include a DDL command within a sequence of DML commands, an automatic commit would be executed. So the commands prior to the DDL command, you would not be able to roll back. Be aware of this. DML commands are transactional and DDL commands are not. DDL commands issue an automatic commit command. They automatically store any transaction prior to the DDL command to the database. DML commands do not automatically commit. They have to be manually committed.